5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware? It looks like Sasuke, if you ask me. I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar. M for Magnus, perhaps, or Matilde, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake. How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? But where is the evidence to support your claim? What? Yes. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice in a court of law. Hollow chalice. Ah, there it is, Lord Van Zieks' hollow chalice. Is that supposed to mean something? How can this be considered acceptable?
Objection!
Oof. He's angry. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hollow chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. How many discourtesy do we have to forgive him? From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected? It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Ding! Well, no matter. Let us proceed to the next round of battle. Bring forth the witnesses once more. This is like phase 2 of a boss battle.
Objection!
Objection. If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. For your words have soured its hollow bouquet. And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. What? My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown. The way he regales us with such witticism. To your future career in the circus.
Objection!
What now, Van Zieks? Is that chalice number 3 or 4? I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Phase 2 boss battle. So my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. For the London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. Say. Ouch. That's chalice number 5? No, wait. The mystery of the 4 books still hasn't been... Whoa. If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. They both went speechless. What, no forgive the discourtesies this time? Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard. Now then, Lord Van Zieks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? Oh no. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
And unnecessary. Lord Van Zieks. They're always hiding something. Good morning, officer. You cannot excuse your sin with drowsiness every time, constable. No, sir. Sorry, but what exactly is a top hinge casement window? And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course, sorry. You see the problem then. Good. Your education in Windows is complete. And anyway, the man over there in all that regalia said members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
Oh? No, I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4. He's on our side now. Seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were. The quiet life where you're not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth.
Objection!
Why are you objecting? This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one? Oof. Van Zieks got slapped so hard with facts as well. Your theory, my learned friend, is history. If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? Will you forgive me for flinging my hollow chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes? That's such a shame that they didn't make Van Zieks cross-eyed. Pray forgive the discourtesies of flinging the dregs of this hollow nectar into the public gallery. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Hold on. Isn't that a line from the Sherlock Holmes stories? That means Van Zieks is secretly a fan of Mr. Sholmes. That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us?
Hold it!
Wait, is this the first time Van Zieks said hold it?
Objection!
Why are you objecting? An accomplice, you say? Pig's will? What now? Sherlock Holmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such. Pretty sure he is secretly a fan. And pray do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Who is this Sholmes character anyway? Oh, I assume all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective.
Objection!
What now, Van Zieks? Conjecture again.
Objection!
Sorry, my learned friend. But that's not true. Let me wait. Unbelievable. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Oh? Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. Wait, is Van Zieks on our side now? Of course. Yeah, call us no brain. Insult us more. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch, he looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. Ha ha ha. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. And neither does your fruit. Is anyone gonna tell him that his wine should not be allowed either? Sherlock Holmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom, no weight at all. He's a real person. How can he say that? How could you say that? Yeah, how could you say that? I know that voice. Am I going mad? There he is! Mr. Holmes! What business do you have here, detective? As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Your 5 minutes is over. Mr. Holmes has high fever? Oh, either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling. I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Strike a man when he's down, why don't you? All silky lost for words. Excellent work, Iris, thank you. And now it's my learned friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. Come on, Mancy, for Pete's sake, stop him!
Objection!
Oh, the leg! Inspector, you should know my methods by now. The idea can and must be discounted. But he could be lying. Huh? What's with the silent treatment? Is something wrong, Lord Van Zieks? Pray forgive the discourtesy. Oh no, clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your eastern island nations is more than geographical distance. The cross-examination must go ahead. What? Do what you will. I just updated the counter. Lord Van Zieks appears to be in a violent mood. Yeah, you don't say. So, your assertion amounts to what? It would appear to me then, counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he? Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but Lord Van Zieks is disappointed in the judge. Certainly not. What? Lord Van Zieks. I was throwing my hand up in despair and happened to catch my hollow bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake. He's low-key funny. At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption made due to the lack of evidence. Oh, Van Zieks knows it. Well, I suspect it may possibly be related to the thing in some small way if we dig deep enough. Then you will be digging for a very long time indeed, my learned friend. Oh. Even at the bottom of the deepest chasm, you will find no sense in that absurd assertion. Sometimes I wish I could disappear down a deep chasm to escape his deep sarcasm. Then I advise you to think more deeply before you answer again this time. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the blackguard in the dock, pray allow me a moment to savor a liquid of a more sanguine hue. My word, the water in the ocean is extremely salty, counsel. A bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stain of guilt from the accused's hands. As a rule, I fill my hollow chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. If this goes beyond 7, yep, we're gonna throw a big objection in his face. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating but irrelevant. There it is. Chalice number 7. I'm pretty sure this is not the end of it either. These are empty assertions. What? There's no possible proof that I'm indeed as you say. I just updated the counter. It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hand. I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5. But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. The true culprit of this crime. The true culprit, a term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friends. The prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Thank you, I suppose, for that backhanded consideration. William Shakespeare, my liege. For my occupation, I can only say that I be a tragic victim to be pitied. Currently unemployed. In other words, I'm olive green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no, not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who is too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Also currently unemployed, in other words. Such idle thoughts never occupy my mind. I am busy with greater ideas. In other words, you didn't notice. Inhaling so deeply, it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubio gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded. A great detective? Is that some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm going to be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? You call that ridiculous? You? Shakespeare? I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shakespeare. Mr. Shakespeare! Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. Yay! What are you doing here, great detective? William Shakespeare. How does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question. From Shakespeare Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. Thanks, Van Zieks. And I personally oversee these chalices being made by the finest crystal craftsmen in the world. And yet you throw them around in court like they were worthless. Yes, because this imbecile is so unimaginably and repeatedly wide of the mark sometimes. Oh. Before you open your mouth next time, you should consider the poor artisans whose work you defile. So, it's my fault. Silly me, how could I ever have thought otherwise? Whoever painted it didn't do a very good job of capturing Lord Van Zieks' facial features. Yes, you're right. I mean, it's not far off, but the artist has exaggerated his subject's handsomeness, I think. Oof, Iris. Ah, that reminds me. I heard Emperor Napoleon of France ordered artists to make him look more attractive when they painted him. How vain, that's really not an attractive quality in a person, is it? That portrait does not depict me. Surely that's immediately obvious. That's amazing, I wonder why it's here. Perhaps he made it to take his mind off the sadness of being too busy to attend in person. Or perhaps he's too embarrassed to queue up for a ticket. Surely it's obvious that I'm using it as an investigative aid. Look at all those ancient casts lining the wall there. Casts in the Reaper's chamber? Or are they caskets? You don't think all those people who escaped conviction in court are lying inside them dead? Do you? What ridiculous notions are going through your head, man? This is my collection of fine vintages. It's so awesome. snooping around his office and then he feels the need to correct us. Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry, me? No, your neighbor.
Hold it!
The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hollow chalice to accompany my old friend's adducing. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Barrett. But I'm really not a patch on you. No, you're not. What? What? I see. You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for any investigator. Where's Susato-san when you need her? What? It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation. More words of the same great scientist, you know? Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius name, you'll be the first to know. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scattered brain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Van Zieks really did have a friend once, but I didn't notice hell freezing over. But the ultimate conclusion then is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Indeed, sir. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? Someone beam me out of this nightmare. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war. All-out war. Well, I see you are all too shocked to speak. Crying in German. That is one very Bohemian sounding cry. Very likely the result of a flaming arrow. No. And Van Zieks took an arrow to his chest too. An arrow of facts. So, you finally opened your eyes. Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed? The prosecution is ready, my lord. The masked apprentice is standing between this man and the lamp. If Van Zieks start sending those chalices flying, this masked apprentice is gonna have a very, very hard time. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably. What? What? I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial. And the smooth running of liquid refreshment by the look of it.
Objection!
Oh? This is so funny. If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions, The prosecution would like to crush the defense argument slowly but surely. This trial has certainly defied all expectation. It seems to be the fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord. I can't help feeling that after this latest topic, the atmosphere in the courtroom has become extremely grave. I like how the music actually stopped. This is no time for jokes, Miss Usato.
Objection!
The assigned prosecutor has the final say on policy in any particular trial. In other words, me. Lord Van Zieks, pray forgive my freshly filled hollow chalice and a whole raft of other discourtesies now. Goodness me! Let's see if you can back up your heady proposal, shall we? He dodged? I did not expect that. The defendant is Professor Hairbrain. Very true. It has slipped my mind. Isn't he one of your closest friends?
Objection!
Ooh. Pray forgive my careless handling of that hollowed bottle. I slipped. Yeah, sure, you slipped. 3 bottles. Likely story. That's what you call it? If that is the case, what is it, man? Van Zieks just lost his composure here. I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution or the defense. Ooh. Sorry, or the defense. Did I just hear that right? He trusts us. That's why I'm packing him off to Germany at once. He makes it sound like he's gonna stuff Professor Hairbrain into a shipping container and send it to Germany. Right. Does your friend-shaped package get any say in it? It would seem your armband may actually imply some dormant talent after all. Lord Van Zieks, do you mean? Let's hope you wake up soon. Yes, I was clearly daydreaming. I almost thought I got a compliment there. A red-headed leak. It's not for me. Ah, that's not why I was showing you it. I suppose. If it was a black-headed leak, you would have no hesitation. None whatsoever. Sadly, my own hair could no more be described as black as it could red. What color league should I then join? What? What? Wow. I did not expect him to have a sense of humor at a time like this. Interesting. People are troubled by the most unexpected problems at times. And while I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor, and that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind, my own. It burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process. It's hard to imagine someone actually giving Lord Van Zieks a heart attack. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. Pass floor to ceiling, just like the last time we were here. Hollow barrels, I suppose. They're arranged according to vintage, flavor, and region. Every week, they're all taken out and put back in order. What? Every week? Lord Van Zieks can't seem to settle on the perfect way to arranging them. Oh, you see, vintage, flavor, and region don't neatly coincide. That's the trouble. Gosh, being his apprentice must be a real challenge. Actually, no. Oh? He considers the task too important to entrust to anybody else, so he does it entirely on his own. So he's a barrel of laughs here and in court then. Lord Van Zieks' fine collection of hollow chalices and bottles all neatly lined up. Yes, he's extremely particular about all that. He has a strict regime for everything, from the storage of the casks to the bottling of their contents. Gosh, he must be having a really tough time of it being his apprentice. Actually, no. Oh? He's so particular about it all. He refuses to let anybody else touch any of it. So it's been quite easy for me, in fact. Talk about weird. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? I brought you one of my special blends. Harley loves it. He said it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young gentleman is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time.
Hold it!
Oh? Oh my god, he did it! The chalice and the boot slam on the witness stand. I didn't think this would happen, but it happened. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice while I stand accused of murder. That girl is no detective. He came here just to say that and to show off his chalice. Assassin. The assassin. I wonder if he realized what he just did. Oh, I see. It was a pitiful situation, yes. Don't tell me you prosecuted him for that. I've forgotten all about it. But I prosecuted the trial too, as it happens. He prosecuted someone for bad-mouthing Britain and for breaking the witness stand. You did. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule? That there is no saving for anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. What? No, even if Van Zieks was the Reaper, do you really think he would kill someone for breaking a freaking witness stand? Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't that right, Lord Van Zieks? This guy. If I were truly the Reaper, I'll be able to tell you. There you have it, a second time. Pray turn a blind eye to the discourtesy as I verify that this vile and unremitting accusation hasn't soured the contents of my hollow chalice. Lord Van Zieks! So I welcome the chance to testify now and crush those allegations once and for all. I consider the man to be a mentor of sorts. He taught me a number of important lessons. He did? Such as what? Where to buy good fish and chips and such like. Well, that was convincing. Scotland Yard has to object to this search.
Objection!
In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object. I don't think he would do something. Again?
Objection!
Supposition at best. What possible evidence do you have to support such a rash claim? senator's office.
Objection!
Possibilities are all very well, but nothing has been proven. I think Van Zee forgets that he's the accused here.
Objection! 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 Objection!
Wait, my lord. As it happens, the defense does have evidence to present. What? Don't be absurd.
Objection!
It's high time that you realized something, my lord. This gentleman has an uncanny habit of producing evidence at the final hour that had escaped everyone else's attention. Oh, God, I can't believe Van Zee is actually cheering us, in a sense.
Objection!
Mr. Chomes. Until our paths cross again somewhere. I'm quite sure that when you see Lord Van Zee's smiling face, everything will seem much better. Miss Usato? Everything seems worse. He has a face like thunder. I'm quite sure that Kazuma-sama would have a smile on his face at this very moment if he were here. Miss Usato, there's another face like thunder here. Let's have a party to celebrate. And Mr. Reaper, you simply must come too. What? I'm afraid I couldn't. The Reaper of the Bailey, flustered by a 10-year-old girl again. Hey, everyone calls me Gossip. I sell John the Little Tibbets to passerby, you know. John the Little Tibbets. Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your... you know, it is. 6 pence is the price and not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Come on, sir, don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is. Pay the man, counsel. What? Alright, 6 pence it is. Why do we have to pay for his testimony? I got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. What do you say then, eh? Wanna part with 6 pence for a pop? No, please don't tell me. Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Give her the money and see if she's right. Pay the woman, counsel. What? Alright, I'll buy one. I can't believe Kazuma, Susato, and the judge are trying to scam me out of my money. Lovely stuff, right then. This is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus special, only 600 pence. 600 pence? No, thank you. No, you're not scamming me out of my money. It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about this, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. Wait, we actually pay for it? I don't actually sell anything. No, come to think of it. Pretty. No more purchases today, please.